In 2016, Adidas introduced a versatile and affordable running shoe with the debut of the AlphaBOUNCE. Featuring a comfortable and sleek design, the shoe makes use of a forged mesh upper and bounce cushioning. Let's take a look. Hey all, what is up? Reese here. I've got a brand new sneaker review for you. What we're looking at today is the Adidas AlphaBOUNCE in the core black, running white, and granite colorway. This sneaker first debuted back in June of 2016 with a retail price of $100. Now as we're going through this video, I'd love for you to leave a comment down below and just let me know what you think about the AlphaBOUNCE. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the silhouette. And also I know Adidas has experimented with a couple different materials on the upper. If you have a favorite among those, I'd love to hear what it is. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And finally, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all of my latest videos. The AlphaBOUNCE is a fairly new running silhouette from Adidas that's meant to be a bit of a takedown from kind of their flagship technologies, which would be Prime Knit for the upper and Boost for the midsole. Along with that though is a much lower price point. As I mentioned, this version retails for $100, while pairs that feature different uppers such as like the engineered mesh retail for $110. To be honest, this isn't a silhouette that was incredibly high on my list. I've heard good things about it, and so I was kind of interested in picking up a pair, but I was just waiting for the right time. They weren't like a crucial purchase for me. There weren't any colorways that I was like, wow, I need to have those. But I did end up finding this particular pair on sale for like $60, and so by using a Finish Line reward along with that, I got them for like $40 shipped, which was really nice. Now that I have them in hand, I'm actually really excited to start wearing them. One important thing to note about this silhouette is that they run big. I would probably recommend, if you can try them on, going down half a size. I actually ended up going down a full size, but that was mostly because my true size, or my normal size, is size 13. But Finish Line only had 12 or 13, there was no 12 and a half. I knew the 13s were gonna be too big, so I went with the 12. And it's maybe a tiny bit snug, but given the material on the upper, I think that'll actually work well. Although, like I said, if you wanna be safe, probably down half a size is the way to go. This shoe features forged mesh on the upper, which is a new material that's very similar in feel to something like a neoprene, so it's got a little bit of a stretch and it just feels really nice to the touch. And the goal here was really to create an upper that was seamless, so you really just have one piece and then also a booty that your foot kind of slips into. But also it was to create an upper that would provide support where you want it as a runner, but also some more flexibility where your foot can kind of use that and get some advantages from that as a runner. And so it was a very data-driven design. They actually looked at how the foot moves when running to kind of create this textured pattern. And so you've got some like kind of ribbing along the sides and kind of at some of those high pressure areas to help with the structural integrity of the material. The midsole then is a material called Bounce. It's basically just an EVA foam. It's engineered to be a little bit softer than kind of just like your average foam midsole, but it is still firmer than something like Boost. But that means that on the plus side, you will get more of kind of a responsive feeling with that. Now, one thing that I always think is interesting is that this is not actually the first time we've seen a cushioning setup from Adidas called Bounce. If you remember back in the mid to late 2000s, there was a technology that was first called A-Cubed that was eventually called Adidas Bounce. It was basically their answer to Nike Shox. It was those cubes that you would see maybe just at the heel or all the way along the shoe. They were kind of goofy looking. I always thought they were kind of cool, but it's just interesting that they just reused that name for a totally different technology. But anyway, with all that said, that's kind of my setup about the AlphaBOUNCE. So we can now dive into a close-up view where we'll take a look at the colors, materials, and everything going on with this sneaker. We'll kick things off with a look at the box. There's nothing special here. It's just a plain black box with your 3 stripes in white. Over on the side, we've got your size and information tag. Diving into the shoe itself, these feature a forged mesh upper, which again is a new material from Adidas. It's very similar to neoprene, especially if we take a look right there at the toe box. Where it kind of gets interesting is running out here along the outside of the toe box up the side of the shoe. You've got this ribbing that provides more structural support and basically allows them to use the same material without needing to add a cage or any sort of extra material to provide more support where you kind of need it from a running shoe. You've got that on both the lateral and the medial sides. Adidas calls this a seamless upper. It's important to note though that it is actually a 2-piece upper because you do have this second section of forged mesh back here. So the front Kind of the sides and the toe box are all just black forged mesh, but here you've got this black and gray kind of cheetah print forming the collar as well as the tongue. You've got black laces, and then there's also these kind of rubber overlays providing some extra durability at the eyelets. At the top of the tongue, you've got this synthetic pull tab with your 3 stripes right there. AlphaBOUNCE text at the back. The lining of the shoe is black, as is the insole, with bounce text right there. You've got a pull tab in black and gray with the really only hit of color that's not grayscale on the inside there. That's kind of an orange. Then you've got the Adidas logo right there. Finally, the heel counter is fairly minimal, especially on the sides, but it does prevent kind of that wobble from side to side. You've got AlphaBOUNCE text right there. Taking a look now at the midsole, again, you've got full-length bounce cushioning. This is an EVA foam, but it's a little softer than your traditional foam. It's definitely not as soft as something like Boost. It feels a lot more firm, but it's still fairly comfortable, and you do get some better responsiveness from it because of that firmness. You've got a fade from kind of a light gray at the rear to white right there. Taking a look now at the outsole, these feature a pretty interesting traction pattern. You've just got all of these like circles kind of running throughout, similar a bit to something like the Ultra Boost, but obviously implemented very differently in terms of the pattern and everything like that. That'll wrap it up for my review of the Adidas AlphaBOUNCE. If you haven't already, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this silhouette down below. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.